Welcome back to the final segment here on This Week in 23 Sports. And Matt, we're going to start real quick. Me and you are going to talk about the softball team to start off with. They had a sweep over Mississippi State this past weekend. Big wins. They finished that third game, finishing 9-2, and the softball team is just rolling. We've talked about them before, but right now they've won quite a few games in a row, 8 straight. They're looking good.
They're looking very good. They just set the season record for steals in a single season, which is something that is classic Missouri softball. To go out there and to get bases like that, you know, they've got hitters that can definitely knock it over the fence, but with that small ball, something Missouri's done really well this year.
They've moved up from the kind of the middle, the bottom of the pack in the SEC. Now they're 6th. They're threatening to, maybe edge up on Kentucky. Kentucky did beat them in a series earlier this year, so that is kind of really putting them on the back burner. But they still should have a pretty good seed heading to the SEC tournament, and I think that they could do great things in the SEC tournament, and I really think they have a good chance of maybe going to Oklahoma City. It'd be very exciting. The senior leadership on this team, another player we didn't touch on earlier, Taylor Gadboy, she's done a great job getting on base. She's batting .414. She scores a tremendous amount of runs. She doesn't have a lot of power, but you know what? She gets on base all the time, and she's a great fielder too in center field.
This is a team of really smart hitters, and I think after the team kind of adjusted to the new pitching situation that was going to go on this year, that's when we've really seen them start to pick up momentum, and this is the time of year to do it.
Finally, we're going to move on to baseball real quick. We got a sweep over Tennessee this past weekend. Finally, something good going on the baseball diamond. They're taking on the University of Illinois right now in beautiful, scenic Sauget, Illinois, over at GCS Ballpark. The arches in the background. It's a beautiful sight. Just don't look around the ballpark.
Sure.
You got to look across the river. But anyways, the Missouri Tigers get a sweep, the first sweep in the SEC all year.
Yeah, and it was something that we definitely thought would happen sooner in the beginning of the season, but it's taken a long time for them to finally kind of find their groove. And I don't know that this is necessarily going to mean anything for the rest of the season, but it is good to see them have that one big series victory like they had this weekend. You
know what it means for them? They're not in dead last in the SEC no longer. They're tied for last overall with Arkansas and Auburn, and Tennessee is just a notch below them at 6-15. The Tigers are 7-14. So now, Matt, I think it's time to hand the keys over.
That's right. We have picked the new TW23 execs and hosts for next year, and we're very excited to introduce Andrew Carlson and Tom Maurer for the first time on MUTV together as co-hosts. Guys, we'll hand it off to you.
Well, thank you, Evan and Matt. It's a true honor to be hosting TW23. Tom, how does it feel?
Oh, my goodness. Surreal. Couldn't even imagine myself being here today, but it's a great feeling.
We got the pink bow ties on tonight, feeling a little #bold, but someone else was feeling #bold on campus. That is the Missouri baseball team. Got a bit of a win streak going, #1 in the SEC. Tom, how are we shaping up heading into the end of the season?
It's a little different than normal. They've won 3 in a row so far, 24-21 right now. The thing that just kind of disappointed me this year about this team, coming into the year 15th in the country, high hopes for this team. The biggest thing that they need to focus on this year is finishing. They got 5 seniors, 22 underclassmen. They need to learn resilience, determination, and perseverance, and they need to finish on a strong note.
And I possibly see them moving up over Kentucky when we look at the scheme of things. Had a sweep this past weekend, like I said, riding that win streak. They've got Georgia coming up. Georgia's not so good, but I like the matchup they have against Mississippi State coming up on the road. Mississippi State, a tough team out of the West.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Mississippi State, very tough team, but as you said, Mizzou coming off a big win streak. Hopefully that attitude of bringing in that gutness of determination that they can really go in there and make some things happen. Zach Levy's been playing fantastic this year. Hopefully Ryan Howard can come in and play up to his potential. I think if those 5 seniors can really just get themselves on the high horse and lead this team, they could beat some good teams here coming down the stretch.
And getting blown out by Missouri State at the beginning of the year on the road, coming back and beating them at home. Look for big things from the baseball team coming up towards the end of the season. But we're going to switch diamonds and talk about the softball team heading into the end of the season with confidence. One more series before the SEC tournament. How are we feeling about the softball team?
Well, the 37-12 right now, and like Evan talked about earlier, is their senior leadership. Emily Crane, Sammy Fagan, Taylor Gadboy. Emily Crane leading the SEC in multiple categories. Taylor Gadboy leading the SEC in steals. They're going to have to ride on the senior leadership. They have those 3 great players. All 3 of them that recent news were drafted into the MPF college draft, all in the top 15. So we know we have some great skill players that we can follow here.
And they have a series coming up against South Carolina before they head to the SEC tournament. I see them sweeping that series. A theme we have going here for the teams is they move up above Kentucky. I see that happening for the softball team, as I think they sweep South Carolina, head in, and as things stand, if they move up one spot and things stay the same, they play Ole Miss in the first round of the SEC tournament. Took 2 of 3 on the road from the Rebels.
For sure, winning 8 in a row. I don't see why they couldn't. They beat down number 16 Texas A&M. They just took down Mississippi State. I mean, they went to Starkville and took them down. The SEC tournament is in Starkville, so maybe,
Absolutely.
Never know.
8-game win streak for Mizzou softball, second largest in the SEC, only to LSU.
Exactly. They're looking very, very sharp this year.
Well, as we know, fall sports season is coming up.
Yeah.
Got some maybe some improvements, maybe some drops a little bit among Mizzou athletics. Tom, what are your predictions coming up for fall sports season?
One team I wanted to point out tonight is the girls volleyball team. A sensational year. A lot of senior leadership. I'm sorry, not a lot of senior leadership. A ton of underclassmen that are going to be coming up next year into the junior senior roles. They only had one senior this year in Reagan Peltier. I think it was very interesting that they were able to just get to the tournament, take down Missouri State. Obviously, they got bounced by Kansas pretty early, but there's a lot of high hopes for this team, especially with a lot of underclassmen in this team.
And big things coming for the Missouri volleyball team. Obviously, Carly Kahn coming back.
Yeah.
She's the big gun. Led the team in kills last year. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the men's side, over to the football team. I'm going to channel my inner Skip Bayless, go with some unpopular opinions here. I think the Missouri football team wins 9 games this year. That's right. Don't shoot the messenger. I think 9 games. I think they take the game against Georgia at home this year. Georgia obviously looking pretty good in the spring game. Hot freshman quarterback Jacob Eason coming in.
Yeah,
strong, accurate arm. But I see Drew Lock possibly being a top 5 quarterback in the SEC when it's all said and done. When you look around the SEC, Chad Kelly at Ole Miss, Josh Dobbs at Tennessee, possibly Brendan Harris at LSU. You got a couple toss-ups towards the bottom there, but I see Drew Lock filling in at the bottom of the top 5 for the SEC, along with Drew Barker of Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't know about 9 wins, but I will support you on that. Drew Lock, I think he's got more experience under his belt. I think coming into this year, a lot of high hopes for him. Hopefully he can bring it. Biggest question really is who's gonna replace Kentrell Brothers on the defensive end, leading the nation in tackles last year. Talked about this earlier. Someone's gonna have to step up if they want to keep this stout defense going.
A new look for things in the fall of 2016. Evan and Matt, we're gonna throw it back to you guys.
Thank you, Tom and Andrew. That was great insight. Did a fantastic job. Look forward to seeing what you guys do with the show next year.
I look forward to seeing Mizzou win 9 games. I don't think there's any way it's going to happen, but hey, new kids say we can do it. So.
Also, Harris is not starting for LSU. He probably will, but he's not going to be a top-tier SEC quarterback. We'll have to talk to you about that one, Andrew. But, Matt, I think it's that time.
It
is that time.
Be sure, as always, check out mutv.missouri.edu for all the shows, recaps, all that other stuff that's great online. Also, check out mutvstream.missouri.edu when you get bored of listening or watching us and you want to read or you want to watch a movie instead.
The amount of great movies that have been on there. The Departed was on there today.
Departed.
Yeah, you got the Northeast accent. Moneyball was on there. Joey Schneider, favorite. Just great stuff. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Great stuff going on. There'll be even more stuff on there next year. And, Matt, I think it's time to say goodbye. So for the final time here on TW23, I'm Evan Locknett. This is my fantastic co-host, Matt Horn. Thanks to Chris Turner, Nick Yale, Thomas Maurer, and Andrew Carlson. I think that's all the time we have for tonight. So from me and Matt, good night.